Today, we're going to talk about purchasing a fitness franchise or the alternative to go it alone, and basically what the pros and cons of that looks like. And then also at the end of the video, I will go over what model of gym I would open if I had to open a new gym today. So, getting into it, the pros and cons of franchises. And I'm just going to spoil it for you a little bit and say that generally speaking, I'm not a fan. As somebody who purchased a gym, it was pre existing, it was an affiliate, but I spent $325,000 for a lot of goodwill and book of business to purchase this gym when the actual build out was $100,000. And if you find the right space, you could get that down to $50,000, $60,000. So there's a huge gap where, knowing what I know now and being able to market, I could have just spent some of that money on marketing. Let's say I went nuts and I spent $20,000 on marketing in the first 2 months to get up to those member numbers. Well, I am now saving myself several $100,000. And there was some other things about that deal that just didn't really sit right with me. But that was the first time I bought a gym, and so that's what was going to happen. So let's get into more of the franchise affiliate thing. So here's what I see working with gyms who are franchises is that, first of all, they are not more successful by default. A lot of them aren't any more successful. They're just a lot more restricted and they're in more debt from buying out a franchise. So here are some of the things that franchises can't do, especially when it comes to marketing. You can't change your website. That is absolutely huge. If you are a fitness business and you have a website that sucks and it doesn't convert and it doesn't trigger people to take action by telling them a story and getting them emotionally involved and logically answering their problems and showing social proof, and it doesn't take them on this journey like the websites I build, it's not going to convert very well. And that's what most people are going to see. They're going to go on their phone, they're going to check out your website, and if it's not compelling, they're not going to sign up. So you're not able to change your website, and if you even attempt to, the franchise will contact you immediately and have you take it down because it's a violation of what their brand looks like. And I think let's take a step back of why you would buy into a franchise in the first place, which is that they show you a model and they've proven that the model works, and they say it'll work just like this for you, and you'll pay it off in this amount of time, and then you'll be free and clear. And they're selling you a vacation. You still have to do the work. You still have to show up. Bathrooms still have to be cleaned. Clients have to be coached. Staff has to be hired. All that stuff. They're just giving you their marketing that they're doing at the higher level, and they're passing it down to you, which, by the way, most of the time I've seen doesn't work very well, and hoping that it's good enough for you to reach those numbers. Now, obviously, with anything like that, those numbers can be true, but they're pulling out numbers that are going to be better to sell you a franchise, and that's just what people do in sales. They show you the best case scenario versus the average or the worst. So, and that's it. So you're buying a new business model. You know it works. You buy the dream, and then you buy the security and the safety of, like, it's done, and they'll do this for me, and they'll do that for me, and et cetera, et cetera. And I owned an affiliate, not a franchise, but talking with franchise owners, it's like, it's not that. I mean, obviously, some franchises are better or worse, but as a franchisee, you're handcuffed to so many things. And so if you think about it, you figure out the model on your own, which is not that challenging because there's really only a few different kinds of things that you can do. You can do a big box gym, you can do a boutique group style like a CrossFit F45, or you can do a premium personal training only style gym, and that's pretty much it. Sure, you can do some combinations of those different things, but the square footage is different, the pricing models are different, all the different stuff. So you figure out what you want to do. Even if you paid a marketing agency $20,000 or $30,000 to get your gym filled, you'd still be way ahead of the game, right? So basically, instead of fully relying on the franchise to have that model, you can just figure it out. You can reverse engineer it. You can talk to somebody who's done it before. You can do a bunch of different things, and then you can have the freedom to do what you need to do for your business instead of being literally handcuffed to not being able to make improvements in certain areas. I've worked at the gym, and I won't say the franchise, but I'm trying to run their marketing that's like, hey, can you give me good photos? Can I use these photos? They're proven. I have them from other campaigns. And it's like, no, we can only use these photos, and the photos they give me when I run them out to test, they don't perform well. So meanwhile, I'm stuck throwing out these ads from this franchise that don't perform well, and neither of us can do anything. And it's like, oh, my marketing doesn't work. And it's like, no, your franchise is screwing you. That's what's happening. So that would be another thing, is not being able to market in the way that you want to. And really just like being handcuffed to the structure and paying a price that you don't need to pay for the lessons that you could learn for somebody through somebody else. Somebody else like me, or there's a million, different avenues that you could go down, and just having the confidence to do it on your own. So I know I'm getting off track here a little bit about the pros and cons, but basically I just see people get stuck in franchises or in affiliations that really aren't that serving and that cost them a ton of money where the value just isn't there. And if you're a CrossFit affiliate owner and you're still watching the video, thank you. I know it's a hard time, because they're raising affiliate fees, and it's like, well, what's CrossFit HQ doing for me? They're not doing that much of anything anymore. The wave of popularity has crested, and that's the other thing. If you buy an F45, and F45 was on the downhill, and 2 years ago it was booming, and these were the numbers, and it's like, well, guess what? It's a recession now, or it's whatever. You got sold that dream, and those numbers are not going to be what your numbers look like, and you'd be lucky just to pay it off. That's the reality a lot of people find themselves in, versus if you are taking out let's even say $100K loan to get your build out done and get, your first 6 months of op costs going and dump a bunch of money into marketing. I would way rather take that bet, because I would bet on myself versus these other people's systems, because I have the experience to do so. So just a quick from me, that's the TLDR. I wouldn't do a franchise. I wouldn't do an affiliation. I would absolutely do it on my own. I would start small and build up. So what's the model that I would run? I would run an ultra premium or premium personal training model. And it does depend on what you want to do. If you like the big busy classes and you like the big box gym, you can do that. But a big box gym means you're selling memberships to thousands upon thousands of people, for $20, $30 a month, and hoping they don't all show up with some PT on the side, maybe some group on the side. A boutique model means that you're capping your membership at something like 150 or 200 members, depending on your square footage and your availability. And you're selling a premium membership that's like $200 a month. And ultra premium means that you're doing something like between 50 and 75 members a month, personal training only, maybe small group if you really wanted to. And that's going to have the best margins, and it's going to require the least amount of staffing, and you need the least amount of clients. So for me, it's like, it's a no-brainer to do the personal training. And so what I would do is I would set up a gym that's about 2,000, 2,500 square feet. And my only essentials basically are a bathroom, shower is a bonus, not an essential. With personal training clients, I would do a shower because they're probably to and from. They're busy professionals looking to do a workout and go to work, kind of thing. So I would do a shower. I would do an office for sales consultations. Really important to have that closed off space. It just makes people feel safer to have a conversation where they're not being overheard, obviously. And then after that, I would just set up stations. You have your rectangle that's, a bay in a strip mall kind of a thing. And you just set up stations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each station is its own independent island. It's fully self-supported. You have all the same equipment at all the stations. It's a power rack. And, so pull-up bar, some weights, dumbbell, kettlebell, that kind of a thing. And then you could have like a shared section for cardio you could walk to and from. So you could have 8 personal training clients going at a time, or you could have that small group of 8 people at a certain hour. And you could just crush, because that's, if all you do is sell an expensive thing, people coming in know it's like, you're not walking into BMW, Mercedes, whatever, looking for a $20,000 Toyota Corolla. You're looking for that thing. So if you're selling the expensive thing, it cuts down on a lot of that. I think insecurity of gym owners not wanting to sell an expensive thing, but also just on that price shopping. It's like, it's personal training. Are people looking for the cheapest personal training possible? Like, are you looking for the cheapest Ferrari you can buy? If so, you probably shouldn't be buying a Ferrari, right? So it gets a lot of those things out of the way. So that would be my choice. It would be the most lucrative. It would be the least amount of work. I would only have to hire 2 staff. And it would be a model that I know would pay itself off very, very quickly. So that is the conclusion for the day. Is I'm not a fan of affiliations and franchises because they handcuff you. You're paying market tuition. You're paying so much money to learn lessons that you could learn from somebody else for a fraction of the cost. You don't have the freedom and the mobility to do what you need to do for your business. And they've sold you a lot of BS numbers to get you to do it because those things very likely are not going to be the case for you. So if you're considering doing this, that would be my 2 cents on the matter based on my experience. So thanks for watching the video and stay tuned for the